Okay, I haven't really figured out this motor just yet. I'm getting a little bit of help from people online, and it's a little bit, I'm having a little bit of trouble typing with my hand. It's just frustrating, and there's a lot of questions they have, and I think it'd just be more useful to make a little video. I'll throw it up on YouTube and let people look at it from there. But the chief problem that I have is that this motor had been rewired in some way, I think, to bypass the starter coil altogether. The reason I think that is because this is the condition that I found this motor in, with the exception of the blue and white here were completely disconnected and just shoved in there. May have been making contact with each other or other terminals, who knows. But they were just shoved in there. And the two wires that were connected, that were poking through the motor to be connected to, and that do run it, were this one, which is, I'm calling it T8. It's a red wire that goes straight to the motor. And where did the other one go? Oh, it fell. And then this one, which fell off when I was doing it, but it went to the bottom side here of the centripetal switch. And so it was these two that were, when I gave these 110, the motor doesn't start, but it will run if you start it. So I don't know how that helps, but furthermore, a terminal is missing here, which has confused me quite a bit. I think it was the low speed terminal, which I suspect was just this line originally connected to there, and then they just poked it through. I think that makes sense. So the way this whole thing is supposed to work, I think, and I don't know much about motors, so if people can correct me, please do. But this is the centripetal mechanism right here. So normally it's pushed out. As it spins, this thing flares open and pushes forward, which means that the normal position, the at-rest position for this switch, is to be pushed back like so, and for that to make contact with these two rather than the upper ones. Okay, so to me that says that in this position, the at-rest, I'll call it the normal position, these two contacts should be going across my starter coil. And then as this thing spins up, it releases, and the contacts coming off of the top side here should be the run coil. And I'm not exactly sure how the high speed and low speed is wired in, whether it's an entirely different coil or whether you extend a coil. I'm not familiar with AC motor design, so I don't know. I went through and I tried to take some resistances across this stuff to try to figure out what was what. I used 3 different meters, and I'm getting considerably different results on all 3, which is frustrating. Although I am getting results on all 3, which to me kind of tends to suggest that the coils aren't actually burnt. I'm trying to figure out what happened to this thing, and I think my guess is somebody burnt the starter capacitor and then tried to rewire it out of there. Who knows, maybe it was never in operation anymore because it wouldn't start, or maybe they jump started it. I don't have any idea. So here, I'll just go through with what I think is going on, and if anybody can help. Okay, so here's a couple of the problems that I have, is that I don't know where, I suspect this was supposed to go to the terminal that's gone. So that's simple enough. I can wire that back in. I suspect that, or I have no idea where this, actually, that terminal could have been either one of these two. And the other one, I don't know where it goes. On top of that, pull that off. On top of that, there's this wire, which was loose. It was a little bit, it was kind of restrained in there a little bit more. This is the one I'm talking about, which comes off of the top side of this switch. I don't know where that's supposed to go. Additionally, people were asking whether there was any damage to these wires. The only damage I've seen, there's a little nick out of this blue cord right here. And I'll repair that, but it doesn't seem, as long as I'm not touching it to anything right now, it's not fused to another wire. The wire in there is still good. It's just the insulation that's a little bit nicked up. But it is worth noting that this wire right here has been, this does not appear to be one of the factory wires. All the factory ends are these right angles, crimp-ons with no insulation, and the labeling on the wire itself is different. So there may have been a damaged wire in here that they replaced, or they just needed, I don't know why they would have made a new wire and then not connected it to anything. That's really strange. So in all this operation, what I think I should see, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that if I take resistance across here with the switch in its at rest position, which is depressed, I should get a resistance that is probably pretty low, and it should be the resistance that corresponds to the starter coil. And then in the running position, which is actually how the switch out of place sits, I should get a resistance that's consistent with the run coil, one of the run coils, or the full length of the run coil. I get, just some basic numbers. I was getting 6 ohms. If I took the terminal 1 and I went to either one of these blue wires, I got about 6 ohms. If I went to T8, which is the red one coming straight off of there, I got 12 ohms. And if I went to this one, I got 8 ohms, which, I don't know, those numbers kind of seem right. I don't know, they seem like what they should be. I don't know. What else did I want to mention? Oh, just if somebody could clarify, I'm just trying to learn here a little bit. I looked these guys up, and I can't find any data sheet on the actual model number, but I looked up the company that makes it, which is like Clixon or something, Klixon, and from what it looks like, they make heat switches, and this is a thermally protected motor. So I'm assuming that these are both heat switches. They look kind of like what heat switches look like, although this was built in 1973, so maybe they look a little different now. I'm not sure really why there's 2, but I'll just say what the wiring does. Black straight off of the motor comes into this terminal right here. This terminal is connected to orange. That's the only other thing it does. It's just a standalone junction, basically. Orange travels down over to here into the first heat switch. Brown comes off of there into the other heat switch. From there I have purple, which distributes to terminal 1, and I have yellow, which goes back straight into the motor. I don't really understand what's happening there. I don't know. I can't really figure out why there's 2. I don't know why I have 3 wires here and 2 wires there. It may be a real simple answer. Again, this is out of my wheelhouse. So we're going on 10 minutes here. I wanted to keep this shorter, but I appreciate whoever took the time to watch this and any feedback you can give me. Thank you.